What's up, people? Orseofkorse here, coming at you with another Genesis video. Today we're going to be taking a look at Joules. He is the tank psionic character, and he's actually a beast. So his moves are the Bioshock, which basically fires a bolt of electricity at target. It also ricochets off targets or even enemy units, so like the minions. He has the Fibrillator, which basically deals damage in an AoE around him. He has the pulse armor, which basically increases his armor and energy resistance when nearby enemies get electrified. So as he's doing damage, he's also taking less damage. And then the last one is the EMP generator. This basically increases the electric damage that he deals to enemies. So super dope hero. Let's go ahead and jump into his actual items and how I think is best to build him. So here we have the items that you can use to build heroes. And the one that I want to start off with is going to be the Helm of Hades. I love this card on almost any caster or any energy type user because it gives the plus 60 energy damage, which is awesome, and the cooldown reduction, which is very good for Joules. He deals a lot of damage, and being able to get those attacks out even faster is great for Joules. Also, the passive is Curse. Abilities deal additional energy damage equivalent to 7% of a target's current health. So it just adds on to the damage that you're already doing. So it's very good for early game, mid game, because you're going to be putting a lot of pressure on the enemy team. And this allows you to actually 2v1 a lot of people because you're going to be getting so much health back as you start hitting harder. It's really hard for people to take Joules down if they're not coordinated. The next item that I usually go with, and it depends on how coordinated the enemy team is, but it's either going to be the Seal of Hades or the Radiant Shield. Now, let's talk about both of these real quick. The Seal of Hades gives you the 475 health, the 425 energy, the 6 health regen, and the 1 energy regeneration. And basically, every time you use an ability, you start getting back 0.5 of your maximum health per 6 seconds. And this can stack up to 5 times. This pairs really well with Joules' ability Bioshock, because that move gives you back health as you are dealing damage. So when you use these abilities together, that ability and this item together, you'll be getting back a fair amount of health. So it's really good for helping you sustain in those fights that may be dragging out a little bit, or if you need to disengage and kind of hit people from afar, you can still get that health back while you're trying to retreat. On that note, Radiant Shield is also another good option because it gives the 40 damage and the 800 energy. The 800 energy is very good because Joel can be mana intensive, so having that extra energy is great. But the active is what really makes this card shine. It grants the shield equal to 30% of your current energy for 3.5 seconds. Effect triggers when your health falls below 25%. So if you're at 25%, unless somebody like really bursts you down, you're probably going to be pretty low on mana as well. But earlier on in the fight or in an engagement, this is a good way to get in there and have some good temporary health to really make you a bit more tanky as you're in there putting down a lot of damage on the enemy team. And if you have your teammates with you, which you should, this card really saves your butt. So I really like this card. It makes you very tanky and hard to deal with. The next card that I usually go with is either the Scepter of Zeus or the Reata Miser. Let's go ahead and talk about Reata Miser first. So Reata Miser is going to give you 70 damage, 200 health, 500 energy, and 3.5 energy regeneration. And the active is what's really good. It turns a unit into a harmless sheep and slows it for 2.5 seconds. This does a couple of things. It keeps you from taking damage for 2.5 seconds, and it also makes it to where the opponent is slowed. This will allow you to get a lot of damage on it with your regular abilities, and then with your passive abilities that do damage to people who are near you. So you get a lot of free damage on these people, and in team fights, you basically take somebody out of the fight for 2.5 seconds. So this card is really good, especially early mid game, but usually I build it a little bit later. Now, Scepter of Zeus is optional. This card gives the 60 energy damage, 200 health, 400 energy, and then the plus 7% movement speed. And then every 4.5 seconds, you get something called Divine Wrath, which strikes a random enemy in a 650 radius around the wearer. Divine Wrath deals a 30 damage plus your energy damage. So it's really good because it reduces energy resistance of the opponent as well. The thing is, though, this item, if you're really ahead and you feel like you just want more damage, this is a good item to go. If you feel like you need to go more tanky, though, Another good option is going to be Medusa's shield. So right here, Medusa's shield and Scepter of Zeus are both like interchangeable. So if I feel like I need more defensive type stuff or more immunity type stuff, I go with Medusa's shield because it gives the 25 attack damage, which really isn't that big of a deal. The plus 50 armor, but more importantly, it grants the wearer immunity to all energy effects for 5 seconds. And that's what makes Medusa's shield really shine, because it allows you to run through a lot of stuns and a lot of effects that would take you out of the fight momentarily. So the last 2 items that you can choose from, and it depends on which one you want, is going to be the Crimson Storm, and that's this card right here. And this card gives you the 70 energy damage, the 350 health, and then 250 energy. The passive is why I use it. Abilities reduce target's movement speed by 30% for 2 seconds. This is really good for team fights and really good for keeping people from getting away from you. Joel has a pretty crazy range with his abilities, and by slowing people down, it just allows you to stick on them that much harder. And since your cooldowns aren't that long, you're able to dish out a lot of damage, and your AoE damage is just going to be taking them down as well. So Crimson Storm is a good option, but if you don't want that, Quantum Boots are actually really good. So this one basically teleports you 900 feet, whichever way that you're looking, and it gives you plus 80 movement speed. So that's another option for being able to close the distance. I think it's preference. I've used both of them and they both work really well. Quantum Jumper does allow you to like jump over obstacles though. So maybe if you're trying to disengage, that might be a better option for you. So it's all up to preference. Now let's take a look at what cards you'll be building as you work towards these in-game items. So now we're in the item store, and I just want to briefly go over how to tell which items you're actually going to be building towards. So let's say you want to start off with Helm of Hades like I do. You're going to push X to pre-select that. And then there will be lines that show what items you'll actually be building as you make your way towards that. So you'll be building the Gamma Gloves, you'll be building the Supercharger, and you'll be building the Power Piston. So those are the items that you will have as you're working your way up towards Helm of Hades. Now you can do that with any item that you're going to build. You just go to it, and then it'll tell you which items you build up to that point. Another way to know quickly is just by seeing the stats of the item that you're building towards. So you know that Radiant Shield has 40 energy and 40 energy damage and 800 energy. So you know the cards that you'll be building will have those same stats. So like the Polarizer is basically just a weaker version of the Radiant Shield, and so forth and so on. So now let's take a look at what Joel looks like in actual combat. So at the end of the video here, I just wanted to put a couple of clips showing a game that I had with Joules. I think I went like 17-4, 17-6, something like that in this game. We ended up losing, but this is a good way to highlight kind of what he's capable of, especially if you have a team that's backing you up or that you're backing up. Joel can really pump out a lot of damage, and he can take out 2 people fairly easy, especially as you start getting his health online, because his damage is definitely there. The only bad thing about this match, we had our carry just couldn't get going. I think he went like 0-14, and you know, we tried our best to peel for him, but I think he was fairly new to the game, so he just had a hard time. And it's not even the fact that he didn't have any kills, it's the fact that he died so much, because the Fed Pop, this little insect right here, is so hard to deal with. Like, he's actually a monster. This guy almost kills me here, but you know, I'm also a monster, so we were able to get out of there. If this video helped you at all, I'd appreciate you dropping a like, subscribing, and sharing the video out. Maybe it'll help somebody else as well. Also, if there's any items that you use on Joel that you think are really great that I didn't put in here, put it down in a comment and explain your reasoning. I'm always willing to learn, and I'm sure it would help people in the community as well. This is Orseofkorse. Thank you for watching, people. We will see you in the next video. I'm going to let the last minute or so of this play out, so feel free to finish it up, and we'll see you next time. Peace, 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 peace.
Sensational! I like to give my prey a head start. Here comes the biospark.
bottom tower is under attack. Your